Hello friends, welcome to Papa Jake's Christmas Extravaganza, aka the biggest mess that I've ever made in my apartment. Anyways, what do you guys think of my set, dude? I think I did a pretty bang up job of making a set. I spent $60 on it. Whether or not it was worth it, I mean, come on, you guys tell me. Are you guys telling me that you wouldn't pay me $60 to come to your house and do this? Yeah. That's what I thought. Take a look at this Christmas stocking, by the way. By far, the worst offender of this entire set. This is easily the most expensive thing I've gotten today. Guess how much you think this Christmas stocking is? This Christmas stocking right here, this set me back 10 big ones. Which, you know, granted, $10 isn't a whole lot of money, but considering the fact that I could just got a regular one for like $1.50, it really makes me think whether or not I should be allowed to have my own bank account. I mean, come on, dude. Just look at the quality. Look at the design, for crying out loud. This isn't just any Christmas stocking. This is an experience. This stocking will be treasured in my family for generations to come. Anyways, none of this was worth it. Anyways, I also got these Christmas poppers, which allegedly contain fun knickknacks inside them. So let's see what I get from this one. What? Didn't even explode, bruh. Is this what I got? What is this supposed to be? What the? What? Is this supposed to be just like a fake fingernail? What the hell is this? Like seriously, dude, look at this. What the hell is this supposed to be? What? Great, another worthless piece of plastic that's gonna fill up our landfills. Anyways, there's more treasures to be had, so let's not get disappointed just yet. We also got some pink tissue paper. Wow. This is great. And let's see, we have a fortune from a Christmas popper. Let's see here. It says, question, why are Christmas trees so bad at sewing? And the answer is, they always drop their needles. I don't get it. Anyways, I'm glad that I spent $12 on that. Anyways, enough with all of this garbage. Let's actually get to the good part of this video. And by the good part, I actually mean the terrible part, because today we're going to be watching the worst Christmas movie to have ever been created. Today we're going to be watching The Nutcracker in 3D, which is not only the worst Christmas movie to have ever been created, but is also among the worst movies in general to have ever been created. The Nutcracker in 3D is one of the only movies to have ever gotten a 0% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And say what you will about that website, but not even Avatar: The Last Airbender movie had a 0% score on that website. That got a 5% score. Now, I'm a pretty forgiving guy when it comes to movies. I don't really tend to scrutinize movies all too much. I'm usually just there to have a good time, but holy Jesus Christ on a bicycle, does this movie suck? According to Wikipedia here, it says Nutcracker in 3D is a 3D Christmas musical fantasy thriller film. Okay. Which grossed only $20 million against a $90 million budget. Now, I don't know about you guys, but losing $17 million seems like a great time to me. So without further ado, I present to you guys The Nutcracker in 3D. So we begin the movie with Elle Fanning, who plays the main character Mary, and her little brother Max, who starts the movie by burning a freaking Christmas ornament like a little gremlin child? Dude, what the hell's wrong with you? Anyways, before we move forward, I just wanted to say that Elle Fanning's performance in this movie is abysmal, for lack of a better word. Now, I know that she was just a child when this movie was shot, but seriously, her performance in this movie is bad even for child actors standards. Like, for crying out loud, the kids in the Star Wars prequels did a lot better job in that movie than she did in this one. What bugs me the most about this movie is the fact that Elle Fanning keeps making the same exact face throughout the entire movie. Like, seriously, what emotion are you trying to portray here, Elle? A fish? Anyways, Mary is sad because her parents aren't gonna be around for Christmas because they're gonna be too busy doing adult stuff.
We really need to get going.
Do you really have to, Mother?
We already went over this, Mary.
But it's Christmas.
Now, kids, this is where I actually want you guys to go ahead and grab the hammer and bash yourselves in the head with it repeatedly, because this plot point is literally never gonna show up ever again in this movie. So just so just forget that this scene exists. This is going to be a recurring theme throughout the entire movie. The movie will introduce plot points, the movie will introduce characters, only to forget about them literally the next scene. So keep this hammer handy because we're gonna need it a lot. After this scene ends, we are introduced to Pepper Saltzman from Modern Family, aka Uncle Albert, who delivers this really strange line.
Such a beautiful city, don't you see? Don't feel pressured to answer. It was a rhetorical question. But you know, I have the strangest feelings that we are being followed. I'd better check. We are not being followed. Now I'm a little disappointed.
What the hell are you talking about, Uncle Albert? Are you on drugs? Okay, so Uncle Albert is supposed to be an omniscient narrator in this movie, which is fine and all, except for the fact that he only really does this twice throughout the entire movie. He does it in this scene that we just watched, and he does it in this scene.
You know, I have the strangest feelings that something is wrong at Mary's house. I'd better check.
And then afterwards, he just stops. He never does that again. It's seriously as if they had more scenes of him narrating the movie, but they either just lost the footage or decided to not include that footage for some reason. It's really weird. Oh, and also, if it wasn't already apparent, Uncle Albert is actually supposed to be Uncle Albert Einstein for some reason. There literally is zero reason as to why Uncle Albert is literally Albert Einstein. He just is. I guess he does sing a little musical number about the theory of relativity.
Up is down, take is give, in is out, whisper, shout, there's no doubt, it's all relative.
In a Christmas movie? But that song doesn't even relate to anything else in the movie. It's just so random. Anyways, Uncle Albert gives the kids a model house which contains 3 toys as well as the titular Nutcracker character, or
I call him NC for short.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Anyways, Uncle Albert takes the kids to the kitchen except for Max, who double backs to the living room just to destroy NC because he is just a little goblin child. Honestly, one scene this kid is burning ornaments and the next scene he's just breaking toys just for the fun of it. Like, somebody put this kid on the leash.
Just a stupid toy!
Oh, and also rats are here. Disgusting PlayStation 2 graphics rats. Anyways, later on we arrive at Mary and Max's bedroom where Uncle Albert tucks the kids into bed, only for him to disappear legitimately the next frame, because I guess this movie is supposed to be a thriller? And no, I did not edit that scene. That is literally how the scene plays out in the movie. He just vanishes like a ghost. Max and Mary then go to sleep, only for Mary to get back up and walk over and talk to NC, and surprise, surprise, NC is actually alive. And no, I did not mean for that to rhyme. Oh, and by the way, get ready for some beautiful grade A child acting right here.
You can talk. Of course I can talk.
Seriously, there's way more life in my grandmother's cadaver than there is in Elle Fanning's performance in this movie. Anyways, NC then instructs Mary to put him high on top of the shelf so he can jump off and transform into a bigger version of himself, which he does, and he lands on a pillow, which causes the maid who was sleeping downstairs to go inside Max and Mary's room to investigate the noise, which, you know, makes sense, except for the fact that we kind of forgot that Max is literally sleeping inside the same room, except somehow he's still asleep throughout all of this. So either Max has a very severely early onset of narcolepsy, or the director of this movie is a frickin' sham. And honestly, I don't know which one I want to believe. And C then takes Mary down into the living room, and we see that everything has now magically transformed. The Christmas tree is now huge, the ceiling is gone, and we can see all the stars in the sky, and the 3 toys we were introduced to earlier are now alive. Now kids, this is when I actually want you to pull your hammers out again and bash yourselves in the head with it, because we might as well forget that these characters ever existed, because they're literally going to contribute nothing to the plot.
The pleasure is all mine.
These 3 characters are another case of the movie introducing things only to forget about them literally the next scene. Like seriously, the Wikipedia plot synopsis doesn't even have these 3 characters in them. They literally do nothing in this movie. Now I want to talk to you guys for a second about the most fundamental rule in writing, which is the concept of Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun states if you're gonna hang a gun up on a wall, you might as well use it, because otherwise it actually detracts more than it contributes. I mean, just think about how much money they spent on these 3 characters only for them to not use these characters in any meaningful way. That is 3 more actors they have to pay, 3 more costumes they have to design and pay for. I mean, even one of them is a fully animated CGI character. You know how much that costs? This is why Chekhov's gun is the most fundamental rule in writing, is because it can literally save you millions of dollars in production costs down the line. Moving on, NC then starts discussing how he has a master plan to finally defeat the Rat King once and for all.
And is this? We're going in to fight against the Rat King.
Which is, you know, all fine and dandy, except for the fact that I don't know whom you're talking about.
Hold it!
Rat King? Rats? You mean these guys? I want to make this clear so you guys aren't confused, but the words Rat King have literally never been mentioned in this movie before, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. The Rat King character hasn't been established yet, so you can't start talking about how you're gonna go fight the Rat King because I literally don't know who you're talking about. Imagine if I just started talking about how I'm gonna beat up Jonathan Black Smith up tomorrow. Like, you guys don't know who that is. I can't just start talking about someone and just assume like you know who I'm talking about if I've never talked about that person before. That's just not how anything works. Anyways, in the next scene, NC and Mary go up a lift to go to the top of the Christmas tree where they meet a character named the Snow Fairy, who is just so sassy for no reason.
You look exactly like my mother.
But I'm not.
You're the Snow Fairy, aren't you?
Who else would I be?
Gee, I don't know, lady. I literally just met you. Freaking chill out, dude. The Snow Fairy then gives Mary the power of flight for a few minutes, and this is legitimately my favorite scene in the entire movie because the CGI is just so bad. Like, look, Mary's movement and speed isn't even synchronized with the environment. Like, I don't get it. This is just green screen. This is basic stuff. How did they mess this scene up so badly? Like, I don't get it. The CGI in the other scenes honestly weren't even that bad. It's just this one specific scene in the movie suddenly is just so bad. Anyways, the Snow Fairy then pulls Mary aside and tells her that NC was cursed by
that terrible creature, the Rat Queen.
The Rat Queen? What? So apparently there is a Rat King and a Rat Queen, and need I remind you that I don't know who either of these characters are. Why would you introduce another antagonist when we don't even know who the first antagonist is? The antagonist at this point literally has 0 seconds of screen time, and here they are adding another one because we weren't already confused enough. The fairy godmother then starts singing, and NC is magically turned into a real boy. And what's confusing for me in this scene is not the fact that he transformed into a real boy.
Not just a boy, a prince.
Whatever, he transformed into a boy, who cares? It's the fact that they say,
Wow. You did it. You believed.
And you released him from the Rat Queen's sorcery.
what? What do you mean Mary did it? She literally didn't even do anything. The Fairy Queen was the one that was singing. This is also going to be a major theme in this movie. Main characters doing literally nothing and getting congratulated for it. So just remember that I said that. After this scene, NC and Mary then climb to the top of the Christmas tree, which is, I thought they were already at the top of the Christmas tree, but I guess there's another whole layer to the Christmas tree that I don't know about. And NC starts explaining to Mary how the Rat King took over his city and built a giant factory that burns the toys to block out the sun because rats thrive in the darkness or whatever.
So why don't you just shut down the smoke factory?
Well, obviously, Mary. If you think it was that easy, don't you think we've already done it by now?
That's it. Fantastic.
Nobody's ever come up with a plan to destroy the factory, even though it's the most obvious thing to do. It's like saying, oh, there's a guy named Hitler and he's killing all the Jews in Europe. Well, what do we do? Like, dude, you never thought about just killing Hitler before? That's such a great idea! Anyways, while all of this is happening on top of the Christmas tree, out of nowhere, some rat dudes in jetpacks show up. What is this sentence? A couple of rat dudes in jetpacks show up and they see, oh, wait a minute, NC is actually alive after all. We have to go tell the Rat King about this. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. The Rat King is finally here. 37 minutes and 27 seconds is how long this movie took to finally introduce to us the most important character in this stupid plot. The movie went through nearly half of its runtime to finally introduce to us the antagonist of this dumbass story. Like, seriously, dude, I cannot understate or overstate how stupid it is to take this long to finally introduce your antagonist into the movie. Like, it's just so dumb. Alright, so the Rat King is finally here. We're halfway through the movie with no time left to spare. We have to get it into the audience's head that the Rat King is evil and that he means business. So what better way to do that than to introduce him with a tap dancing number where he kills his own pet shark for some reason. What the hell, dude? That's just not cool. Anyways, musical number ends and the jetpack duo comes in and lets the Rat King know that NC is still alive, which is important for some reason. Now, I know that I've said this a lot in this video, but I'm gonna come back to this point that the prince being alive literally does not matter. After that scene ends, the Rat King takes the news of NC being alive to his mother, the Rat Queen, who is possibly the most disgusting abomination that humanity has ever created in the history of our existence on this planet. And to top it all off, the director somehow thought it was a great idea to include a shot of Grandma's gooch region, like right in front of our faces, dude. Like, seriously, I'm not even making this up. It's right there. I thought this was supposed to be a family-friendly movie, but I guess not. Anyways, the Rat Queen drinks some juice, and then she snaps her fingers and refreshes the curse on NC, turning him back into the Nutcracker. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to point out that it is once again Hammer time, because this character might as well not exist anymore. The Rat Queen has served her purpose as a character in this movie already. At this point, she is done. She no longer has to be here anymore. So just do yourself the favor and just forget about her. Her only role in this movie is to refresh the curse on NC. Like, couldn't they just have had the Rat King be able to do that himself instead of splitting the main antagonist in two like this? It's just so dumb, dude. Like, imagine instead of just having Thanos, you had Thanos A and Thanos B, except Thanos B is an old lady and she only has one of the Infinity Stones. Like, what? Why? Oh, and also, I just remembered that the rats are literally Nazis, and I'm not even making it up. I mean, just take a look at this. Take a look at their costumes, and take a look at the Nazi it's literally just what it is. Like, you really can't make this up, dude. I mean, you can. They did it. It's the Nutcracker in 3D. It's real. They spent $90 million on it, but other than that, you really can't make it up. Anyways, this is the part where the story starts to get super weird and convoluted, so you pay attention to this part right here. Anyways, the Rat King sends his henchmen to go chew down the Christmas tree, and this is where the movie starts to get super confusing, because thus far it's been established that this was all happening in the dream dimension. The giant Christmas tree, the snow fairy, NC, the rats, they all existed in the dream dimension, which is all fine and dandy, except for the fact that the Christmas tree in real life got cut down?
What's going on here?
So which one is it? Was it a dream or was it real life? Because at this point, the lines are kind of getting blurred. These two dimensions are sort of bleeding into each other. Because if it was a dream, then how did the tree in real life get cut down? And if it wasn't a dream and we're going by Toy Story rules, then why does Mary wake up when she falls off the top of the tree? The more you think about this movie, the less it makes sense. Like, at this point, the movie isn't even playing by its own rules anymore. Anyways, parents come home and dad is super pissed that somebody saw through the Christmas tree and starts literally abusing Max and Mary as if they had something to do with it. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, calm down. I thought this was supposed to be a family fun movie, not a PSA about abused children. Later in this scene, Dad calls Uncle Albert over to tell him that he's been a bad influence on the kids, which causes Uncle Albert to sing Dad a little song about how Dad lost his childhood innocence. This song moves Dad to tears as he reminisces about his childhood pirate ship which he lost.
You should have seen my pirate ship. I made it all by myself.
Which causes Uncle Albert to say,
Yeah, I saved it for you.
which, let me pull out my glasses real quick, because that does not look like a fucking pirate ship to me, Uncle Albert.
I'm so glad I didn't leave the house without my lucky pebbles.
Uncle Albert, I'm sorry to say, but you are borderline schizophrenic, my friend. Anyways, later that night, Max finally wakes up and joins the party because the director finally remembers that, hey, this character exists and he sleeps in the same room as Mary does. In the next scene, the Rat King ambushes NC and kidnaps him and all of his friends, and he literally beheads a motherfucker, which entices Max to join the Rat King's crusade because he's He's just all sorts of fucked up, aren't you, buddy?
Wow! Can you do that again, please? Leave him alone!
What is that, a pen? Are you gonna write him a strongly worded letter?
Where does it go?
Rat World.
Rat World. Seriously? You could have come up with a better name than Rat World? Come on, dude. Anyways, now Max and the Rat King are literal BFFs because...
Anything for boys who break toys.
Remember when Max, when he broke toys? That's what we call in the writing business foreshadowing. Oh, and also NC dies. Apparently. Because the next time we see him, he's dead, so... I guess we just have to trust the movie on this one. Oh, and now Max and the Rat King aren't BFFs anymore, because Max just realized that he doesn't want to break toys anymore.
No one should break another kid's toys.
Like, Max, come on, buddy. Like, you just saw the dude behead someone literally 5 minutes ago, and now you're not okay with breaking toys? Like, what is wrong with you? And no, I am not skimming through this movie either, by the way. This literally happens within a few scenes. Anyways, Max gets thrown into prison because he's just such an inconsistent character. Just throw him in the bad character jail, alright? He deserves it.
You're not a rat, boy! You're a wrong boy!
In the next scene, we see Mary pull out NC's dead body out from the incinerator line straight out of Toy Story 3. And now she's all sad because her BFF is dead and she doesn't know what to do. But thankfully, our old friend the Snow Fairy comes in clutch with the advice.
What do I have to do?
So why are you here? And she dips immediately afterwards. Geez, Snow Fairy, thanks a lot. And I want to stress, I promise you, that I'm not taking any of these scenes out of context. This is literally how the movie plays out. If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and watch the movie on Amazon Prime Video, dude, and see for yourself. Anyways, Mary then revives NC through the power of friendship, which causes all the factory workers in the factory to rise up against the rat overlords. Now remember what I said before about NC literally not mattering to the Rat King's plans? This scene pretty much proves it. This scene shows us that the people in the factory had the power to rise up against their rat overlords all along, because literally NC and Mary didn't do anything. Why did the factory workers have to wait around for so long for NC to come back and be turned back into human when they could have just revolted literally any time they wanted to? It makes no sense. It's not like NC led the people to revolt. The people just revolted. Like, they really didn't need him to be there. I guess they were just waiting around to be polite to NC so he doesn't miss out on all the action, I guess? This movie's just so dumb. But wait, if you think that the movie can't get any dumber, what happens next is actually a lot worse. So the Rat King and Queen decide that they need to escape the city, and what better way to do it on their brand new flying machine. But then they realize, oh wait, there's no one left around to pilot the helicopter. Whatever are we gonna do?
I bet I can fly that machine you were talking about.
You?
Sure, I can fly anything.
You?
I could fly silver ones. I could fly any flying machine in the world.
Yeah, right, kid. Like a couple of grown adults are gonna trust a 7-year-old boy with piloting their helicopter. Surely not even this movie is that dumb. So yeah, Max helps the Rat King and Queen get the helicopter up and running, because why not? Oh, and also all of these characters are on the helicopter as well. I don't even know how they got on. Anyways, all of these characters fight inside the helicopter when Max decides to crash the helicopter to the ground so that the Rat King and Queen cannot escape. Which begs the question, why did he even help them get the fucking thing off the ground in the first place? Why did you help them start the helicopter to help them escape if your end goal was to crash the helicopter so that they couldn't escape? Surely you could have just not helped them to begin with.
Don't blame me for breaking this one. It's not my fault.
Except it was, Max. It quite literally was. Anyways, the Rat King and Queen are finally defeated. The town is back to normal and it's happily ever after for everyone. Except the movie still doesn't stop being stupid for another 5 minutes. So the Snow Fairy shows up and says goodbye to Mary because she needs to go back to the real world and wake up, thus confirming that everything that's happened thus far was indeed a dream.
This is only a dream, darling.
So if she was really dreaming this entire time, then how did the tree in real life get cut down? That still doesn't make any sense. Also, she says,
Your parents will miss you terribly. So will Max.
which implies that the Max that we've been seeing thus far was not the real Max, but was just a dream version of Max. Because, you know what, at this point, I'm just done with this movie. I don't even want to question it at this point. But wait, there's still a few more seconds left in the movie, and the movie doesn't want to stop being stupid just yet. So Uncle Albert comes back to the house and introduces Mary to NC in the real world? So now you're probably thinking, if NC exists in the real world, then this is completely bypasses the whole "it was just a dream" situation. Well, you'd be right, except for the fact that this NC is not the same as the NC that we've been introduced to thus far. Yeah, so this NC actually isn't the same NC from before. He just so happens to look exactly the same like the NC as before and share the exact same name as the NC from before. But other than that, he's a completely different person. Oh, and also Mary has her dad's magical pebble for some reason. Apparently the magical pebble was very important to the story, except it never was. The pebble literally only showed up for like 5 seconds on screen, and it literally did not mean anything, and now they're trying to tell us that it's been a symbol for something this entire time. Like, okay, I've had enough. We're finally at the end of the movie. Thank God. Anyways, this has been my review of the Nutcracker in 3D. Boy, what a perilous journey this has been for all of us. Despite how objectively bad this movie is, it's one of those movies that's so bad that it's actually kind of good. Like, seriously, my girlfriend and I watched this movie together and we had the time of our lives, dude. We could not stop laughing for the entire duration of this movie. This movie was hilarious. My girlfriend and I laughed our asses off throughout the entirety of this movie, and those are memories that I'm gonna cherish forever. So despite how bad this movie is, I strongly recommend that you watch this movie with somebody that you love, because that's honestly a great time. Like I said before, this movie is available on Amazon Prime Video, but if you don't have Amazon Prime Video, if you do a little bit of searching, you can find the full movie here on YouTube. But anyways, that is gonna be it from me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your holiday season. Merry Christmas. My name is Jake_, and I will see you guys next year.